Now at 9, we had some severe weather hit parts of the 4 states today. Doug Heddy has the latest on what to expect from this weekend. Plus, we'll check out flooding issues that are impacting cities in our area and how the city of Miami is trying to make up for a loss of revenue at the municipal pool.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. We had another round of rain and severe weather today, but there's more chances this weekend. We'll go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a warm day, but of course we had morning showers and thunderstorms across the region, heavy amounts of rain, a little bit of severe weather. Then we had severe weather again late in the day across portions of the area. 73 was our high, pretty close to where we should be. 72 is our normal high. You can see the storm scooting out of the region. We don't have to worry about showers and thunderstorms for tonight, but of course we do have severe weather chances again. Let's go into Saturday, a level 3 out of 5, a level 2 out of 5 on the Missouri side, but good chances for severe weather on Saturday. 3 p.m. all the way to 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. We're going to elevate tornado, hail, wind, and heavy rain threat as we go into Saturday afternoon. We even have a severe threat on Sunday as well. I'm going to have all those details for you here in just a bit.
Thanks, Doug. Check out this video of the storm sent to us by Sarah Wilson. She says it comes from the south edge of Fredonia, Kansas. If you have photos or videos from these storms, send them to our KOAM Facebook page and we'll post them here. The rain got so heavy in parts of our area, it flooded roads. One driver near Carthage didn't heed the barricades warning of high water and needed to be rescued. The driver was uninjured but was ticketed since driving around such barricades is illegal. The car will remain there until the water recedes. Water is and has been rising and falling fast in Crawford County. With the predicted weather ahead, there are many potential hazards already present and upcoming, even more so in the case of rural routes. KDOT says heavy rains make marking rural routes more difficult due to the potential of cones washed away. Trees are also very heavy now with saturated root systems that can easily fall with strong winds. KDOT or the Crawford County Sheriff's Office can be reached in the case of an emergency. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly issues state of disaster emergency threat for the severe storms. The governor issued a verbal state of disaster just after noon today due to severe weather that will impact the state beginning today, continuing into Sunday. This declaration activates the Kansas response plan and the ability to expedite state agency assistance to communities in need. City officials across the 4 states are preparing for potential flooding this weekend. KOAM Samantha Walker met with 2 different departments to learn what they are doing to keep people safe.
The water of the Neosho River is rising, and Miami city officials expect it to only get higher.
Neosho, with the watershed up north and where the water's been falling, it's definitely going to come up. Right now it's predicted to crest at 10. With predicted future precipitation, obviously going to go up as we spoke about.
Anderson says the city is predicting the river to come up roughly 16 to 20 feet. He says while there is little to no expected risk to residential homes, the community needs to be prepared for flash flooding.
And then you always get the flash flooding. Anytime you have 2 or 3 inches of rain, hard pressed, you're going to get flash flooding.
Miami city officials say there are multiple ways in which water could find its way into the city. They say they have to think ahead and be prepared.
As the emergency manager, we always do preparation for flood events, for storm events. So we've got staff monitoring that. You know, we have an event this weekend, the Mural Fest. Going to be several people downtown. So we're going to be monitoring the weather and be conscious for increased traffic downtown, people out on the street. We want to make sure that we do keep safe and give people advance warning as much as possible.
Some first responders, such as the Reddings Mill Fire Protection District, are prepared with special equipment to help perform rescues in flood conditions. But they say they hope to not have to use them.
Those that want to go around the barrier and drive through the flood water, just take an extra 10 or 15 minutes and go around, find another route to your destination. You know, we're trained to go and rescue, but it also puts our people in danger when they're having to rescue.
Reporting in the 4 states, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Miami officials say they expect the water to continue to rise and have flooding concerns through Monday. They say they'll be on high alert until they see it start to go down. The city of Miami is looking at future plans for the municipal swimming pool at the Riverview Park. The pool was built in the 1930s and was relined 2 years ago for $200,000. Regular flooding of the park has also caused damage to the pool and its pumps, costing the city thousands of dollars every year. The city council approved a plan to increase admission prices to make up some of the cost.
As far as the parties go, we brought our party rates in line with the parties are going to be during business hours. So we brought from $270 down to $200 because they'll be going during business hours rather than having them after hours. So they'll be during our regular staffed hours.
The city plans to open the pool by May 25th. The council also heard a plan for a potential $10 million aquatic center, though nothing is decided on that just yet. The severe weather may have canceled the main event for Pittsburgh's Art Walk, but local businesses still kept the spirit of it alive. Several downtown businesses hosted art-themed events, including poetry reading, art exhibits, painting parties, and more, all of it inside and out of the storm. Officials say they couldn't let the Art Walk fans go empty-handed.
I love sharing art with people. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to make this and sell it for a bundle of money, because that's not what art is about for me. Art is more about bringing people together and just like, oh, this is just the most wonderful thing. Sharing art, trading art between people, people getting something that they really love that they can hang on a wall or display proudly, or even just keep in their wallet or in their pocket or on their person in their purse, something like that.
The next Pittsburgh Art Walk will be September 20th. The Ottawa County Arts Festival gets ready to welcome visitors back to Miami. This year's event, formerly known as Mural Fest 66, will feature circus and street performers, live music, a kids depot, and, of course, those famous murals. Though the name has changed, the celebration of the arts remains the same.
It started in 2017, and it was a partnership with the Oklahoma Mural Syndicate, which is out of Oklahoma City. We made the decision to step away from them and do it on our own this year, and that's why we changed the name. But we also wanted to be able to get off of Route 66 in the future, so we are going to focus on Route 66 until the centennial in 2026, and then after that we'll be expanding out.
Food trucks and vendors begin at 10 a.m., music performers from 10 a.m. to 2, and the festival concludes at 3 p.m. Coming up, fewer people having kids.
New data from the CDC shows U.S. births took a plunge last year. I'm Chanley Painter with a look at what sociology experts say could be behind the drop. Coming up.
Medical experts reveal the number of births last year declined. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter takes a closer look at the numbers and what could be behind the drop.
Whitney Houston once sang, "I believe the children are our future." But new provisional data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has some wondering just how bright that future will be, with the number of U.S. births dropping last year. A little under 3.6 million babies were born in 2023, down 2% from the year before. But this sliding trend isn't new. Births have been falling in the U.S. for more than a decade before the COVID-19 pandemic. Once the coronavirus took the world by storm, births plunged by 4% from 2019 to 2020. While rates increased in the 2 years that followed, the upward momentum is hitting a roadblock.
The level of fertility that we're seeing is not super low.
Sociology expert Nicholas Mark doesn't think it's cause for concern just yet.
Especially in the U.S.'s high levels of immigration, there's no population decline that's going to happen because of this.
The CDC data shows birth rates for all women under the age of 40 fell last year, while rates for women in their 40s remained flat. A potential factor could be the high cost of living. A recent survey from personal finance company NerdWallet found only 27% of non-parents under the age of 60 plan to have kids. Many others say they're just too expensive. The CDC data is based off more than 99% of all of last year's birth records. The numbers could slightly change once all the birth certificates are reviewed. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
AI is already being used in almost every aspect of healthcare, but some medical professionals aren't on board. A study by Florida Atlantic University found more than half of nurses and reservations about AI use in healthcare. Some of their concerns include AI's lack of empathy, its potential to take jobs, and data security. Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, Pitt State hosts its spring football game. We'll check it out.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a stormy Friday for us. Showers, thunderstorms through the morning hours, kind of working in last night through the morning hours. And then again, some supercells popped up this afternoon into the evening hours. At the airport in Joplin, not a ton of rain since midnight, but over 1/4 of an inch for the month. We're at 4.61, which is pretty good. That's about where we average, but for the year, shy of 10. So we still have a departure of 1.5 inches. I'm going to guarantee we make that up by the time we head into tomorrow night. We're going to get some very, very heavy rains in here. All right, severe threat, Saturday, level 3 out of 5. These are going to start mid-afternoon, 3 p.m. through the night into Sunday morning. Main threats, hail, wind, and tornadoes, similar to what we had today, just much more widespread. We're going to elevate tornado, hail, wind, and heavy rain is high. We're going to have a flash flooding threat as we go into Saturday afternoon. All right, severe threat again Sunday. This is a level 2 out of 5. Timing for midnight to 8 a.m., a break, then 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the afternoon. Hail, wind, tornadoes. We're going to elevate all the threats again. So the bottom line here is pay attention as we go into this weekend. All right, let me walk you through it. Tonight's fine. First half of tomorrow, pretty good. We warm to about 80. We're going to stop at 3:30 in the afternoon. Thunderstorms now starting to develop north central Oklahoma, driving in. You can see the cluster. So here's 5, 6, 7 p.m. This cluster in southeastern Kansas is going to have a high potential to rotate, meaning tornadic. So we need to watch this as it rolls through. As we continue through the evening hours, we get a training situation, meaning severe storms go over the exact same location. Thunderstorms slowly working south and east. By this time of night, 10, 11, midnight, we're going to switch more over to a wind threat, high wind threat, drive through the area. Here's about 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then finally our severe threat will start to drop. Showers and thunderstorms stick around into Sunday morning. But then Sunday afternoon, look at this, very similar to what we saw today. If we clear out, see sunshine, supercells pop up with the potential of those rotating as well. So a ton to watch as we go through the next couple days. Plus, we already had flash flooding on Thursday. Look at the rainfall potential. A lot of areas are going to pick up an additional 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches of rain. So a lot of rain. Alert days, next couple days. Due to our severe threat, I have a possible alert day on Tuesday due to another severe threat. Monday looks nice though. And then thunderstorm chances sticking around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Temperature is pretty good, mainly into the 70s and 80s, cooling down a little bit by late next week. Anthony?
All right, thanks, Doug. We'll have to keep a lookout. A Columbus woman is celebrating her last day as in her workplace and is retiring after 50+ years working in the medical field. 30 of those years were spent with Mercy Hospital in Columbus. As a surprise, I was invited to her retirement party, and I'm showing you just how much Marilyn Thompson means to her friends, family, and coworkers.
Everybody's here today because of this lady that we love very much. And I know we all have stories about Marilyn. I might have quite a few.
In a hospital this size, it's really common for us to wear a lot of different hats. But when you have somebody that's been here as long as she has, and then somebody that brings the experience that she brings, there is going to be a void that really can't be filled, can't be replaced.
The only thing I can say is that Marilyn used to scare me for a long time. I was afraid of Marilyn, and finally one day I thought, I'm not going to be afraid anymore, and she just laughed at me.
When I worked at Oswego, I was even an aide part of the time when they needed somebody, and when the administrator was gone, she set me up to do chest x-rays, and I would do EKGs. I mean, I just done a little bit of everything.
Up until the last couple years, she worked more than one job while carrying her full-time job here, because that's just what she does. That's what she's always done.
When I was younger, I would stay in it, yes. But my granddaughter thinks it's time for me to retire.
Well, happy retirement, Marilyn, and enjoy that vacation, which she is planning on visiting California for her first post-retirement vacation. Coming up, prices continuing to rise.
The latest inflation reading indicates prices are not moderating. I'm Jerry Willis in New York. We'll break down the numbers coming up.
TikTok's Chinese parent company said it won't sell the social media platform as a United States ban looms. ByteDance denied plans to sell after reports surfaced it was exploring the sale of TikTok's U.S. business without the algorithm that recommends videos to users. This is the first official response from the Beijing-based company on the issue since President Biden signed a bill that could lead to a nationwide ban. There's no improvement in the latest readings on inflation. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis has the latest.
Inflation showed little signs of letting up in March. The Personal Consumption's Expenditure Index and inflation reading rose 2.7% for the year ending in March, up 2.8% for the year, excluding food and energy. The monthly increases were in line with expectations, up 0.3%, which matches the previous month.
Inflation has shown more stickiness than even we expected, and we've been talking about it now for a good 6 months.
Americans were making a little more last month. Incomes rose 0.5%, and they continued to open their wallets despite steeper prices. Spending was up 0.8%. Economists anticipate spending will slow further in the coming months as consumers continue to grapple with expensive goods, high interest rates, and the resumption of federal student loan payments.
It's really the services sector of the economy that's pushing those prices higher. They have some pricing power, those companies do, and that's going to be a problem going forward.
Meanwhile, consumer sentiment weakened at the end of this month. The University of Michigan's reading dropped to 77.2 from 77.9 in early April. Those responding now believe inflation will average 3.2% in the next year.
And I can just give you a laundry list of things at the supermarket that Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob are buying today that either are much higher in price or, like the chips, you're getting half the size of the bag for the same price that you did a couple of years ago. And if that doesn't change, not good news going forward.
All eyes are on the Fed now and how it reacts to its meeting next week. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Up next, we'll learn the special occasion behind the newest photo released by the Hubble Space Telescope. Well, check out this stunning image of the glowing gas emitted by a dying star. The image of the Little Dumbbell Nebula, with its unique namesake shape, was captured by the Hubble Space Telescope. The portrait may also include evidence the star gobbled up another star in a form of a stellar cannibalism before it collapsed. NASA released the image to celebrate the 34th anniversary of the Space's observatory's launch. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Testimony from the first witness in the Donald Trump hush money trial wraps up. Plus, Secretary of State Antony Blinken meets with the President of China in an attempt to repair relations between the countries.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. Cross-examination continued today in Manhattan as former President Trump's legal team had its turn questioning the former publisher of the National Enquirer. It comes as the hush money criminal trial entered its 8th day. Fox News correspondent David Spunt has the latest on what was said on the witness stand.
Former President Donald Trump says this is not where he should have been today, in a Manhattan courtroom. facing allegations he falsified records to cover up a hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Instead, Trump says he should be in Florida with his wife Melania, celebrating her birthday.
I'll be going there this evening after this case finishes up, this horrible, unconstitutional case.
The 8th day of Trump's hush money criminal trial included cross-examination by Trump's legal team of David Pecker. The former National Enquirer publisher is the first to testify in the case and told prosecutors earlier in the week he agreed to spend thousands of dollars to purchase the rights to stories that might embarrass Trump during his 2016 campaign, but not publish them, a process known as catch and kill. Trump's defense team worked to discredit the idea, arguing what was done was not an effort to influence the election, but standard procedure for the tabloid. At the end, an attorney for Trump asked Pecker about his obligations to cooperate with the prosecution. Pecker responded saying, quote, "to be truthful."
Many of us are still debating, second week into this case, what was the crime Trump was trying to conceal?
The prosecution also claims Mr. Trump violated a gag order in the case. The judge has yet to rule and rescheduled a hearing on the matter for May 2nd. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
Another deadline has come and gone for pro-Palestinian demonstrators to break down their encampment on the campus of Columbia University. Negotiations between school administrators and student protesters there continue, and a pro-Israel rally took place near campus today. Law enforcement has cracked down on many protests in recent days, arresting hundreds of people. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wrapped up a trip to China with a sit-down with President Xi Jinping. The two leaders showed some agreement on a few issues, but as Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports, the superpowers are facing a myriad of contentious issues as they try to mend their relationship.
A warm greeting between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Chinese President Xi Jinping Friday, wrapping up Blinken's three-day trip to Beijing, filled with hot-button issues and warnings from both sides.
I returned to China this week to take stock of where we've made progress and where more needs to be done.
The Secretary of State raised a number of concerns, including economic competition, artificial intelligence, and fentanyl precursor chemicals originating from China. But the main purpose for Blinken's trip was to warn China against its support for Russia in its war with Ukraine.
Russia would struggle to sustain its assault on Ukraine without China's support.
For their part, Chinese officials raised the issue of America's growing military alliance with Taiwan. But President Xi still expressed interest in wanting better relations between the two countries.
The two countries should be partners, not rivals. They should achieve mutual success, not harm each other.
The visit comes a few weeks after President Biden spoke with Xi on the phone. Despite disagreements on a number of issues, communication between the two countries is increasing. But some White House critics think it's all for show.
This is talk for the sake of talk, and frankly, I think the Biden administration is just hoping they can get through the next handful of months without something exploding in Asia in the same way it has in the Middle East and in Europe.
One thing that did not come up between the leaders, the potential TikTok ban in the U.S., even though the clock is ticking for the app's Chinese parent company to sell. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A little bit later, Americans are still getting their daily cup of Joe despite a spike in prices.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a stormy Friday for us. Showers, thunderstorms through the morning hours, kind of working in last night through the morning hours. And then again, some supercells popped up this afternoon into the evening hours. At the airport in Joplin, not a ton of rain since midnight, but over a quarter of an inch for the month. We're at 4.61, which is pretty good. That's about where we average, but for the year, shy of 10. So we still have a departure of an inch and a half. I'm going to guarantee we make that up by the time we head into tomorrow night. We're going to get some very, very heavy rains in here. All right, severe threat, Saturday. Level 3 out of 5. These are going to start mid-afternoon, 3 p.m. through the night into Sunday morning. Main threats, hail, wind, and tornadoes, similar to what we had today, just much more widespread. We're going to elevate tornado, hail, wind, and heavy rain is high, we're going to have a flash flooding threat as we go into Saturday afternoon. All right, severe threat again Sunday. This is a level 2 out of 5. Timing from midnight to 8 a.m., a break, then 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the afternoon. Hail, wind, tornadoes. We're going to elevate all the threats again. So the bottom line here is pay attention as we go into this weekend. All right, let me walk you through it. Tonight's fine. First half of tomorrow, pretty good. We warm to about 80. We're going to stop at 3:30 in the afternoon. Thunderstorms now starting to develop north central Oklahoma, driving in. You can see the cluster. So here's 5, 6, 7 p.m. This cluster in southeastern Kansas is going to have a high potential to rotate, meaning tornadic. So we need to watch this as it rolls through. As we continue through the evening hours, we get a training situation, meaning severe storms go over the exact same location. Thunderstorms slowly working south and east. By this time of night, 10, 11, midnight, we're going to switch more over to a wind threat, high wind threat, drive through the area. Here's about 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then finally our severe threat will start to drop. Showers and thunderstorms stick around into Sunday morning. But then Sunday afternoon, look at this, very similar to what we saw today. If we clear out, see sunshine, supercells pop up with the potential of those rotating as well. So a ton to watch as we go through the next couple days. Plus, we already had flash flooding on Thursday. Look at the rainfall potential. A lot of areas are going to pick up an additional 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches of rain. So a lot of rain. Alert days, next couple days, due to our severe threat. I have a possible alert day on Tuesday due to another severe threat. Monday looks nice though. And then thunderstorm chances sticking around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Temperature is pretty good, mainly into the 70s and 80s, cooling down a little bit by late next week. Anthony?
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, we're getting a lot of rain, and they say April showers bring May flowers, and that's what folks in Carl Junction, Missouri were hoping for today. The Carl Junction Cultivators Garden Club today held its annual spring plant sale. Gardeners were able to pick up some perennials, vegetables, indoor plants, and succulents, all grown by the Garden Club.
We have plants to sell, but we also have friendships to sell, and we want to implore people that if they are interested to come out and to look at our club and maybe join and to be a part of the Cultivators Club, but it's also part of the community.
The proceeds go towards scholarships for Carl Junction High School seniors and supporters' beautifaction efforts for the city. Connect Christian Church hosted its biannual Carrying Closet surplus sale today. Shoppers could take advantage of clothing in all sizes, toys, houseware items, baby items, and shoes, with all 5 items 25 cents.
Surplus sale. This is all the stuff that we aren't moving out our carrying closet. At our carrying closet, all the items, all the clothes, everything are free to foster families. So these are things that our carrying closet is full and it's being shopped, and these are extra.
All money raised supports the mission of Fostering Hope, a program to support the local foster care community. Coming up in sports, the Kansas City Chiefs bring in a new member to their football team. Plus, Pitt State football is back on the field playing in their annual spring game. Brock Baldridge has those stories and more.
Well, tonight is the annual spring game for the Pitt State football team. The Gorillas hit the field in front of their home crowd for the first time since November. It's offense versus defense tonight. Offense wearing the red and defense representing the white. We get things started early in the game as the offense starts with a draw play, and there's Noah Hernandez. It looks like he could go all the way. Almost takes it the distance, but a little over 55 yards on the run. Goes down deep into the opponent's red zone. So a few plays later, Chad Dotson Jr., quarterback, drops back and fires a nice pass at Jake Bogdan, who hangs onto the football across the goal line, and that is a touchdown to put Team Red on the board first. A few possessions later, Team Red is deep in the opponent's territory once again. Matthew Brown is there to make the catch, falls across the end zone, and puts another touchdown on the board. So we take a break and switch sides of the field. Now Pitt State will go to Cleo Chandler, who takes the handoff, and he goes in the end zone untouched. The offense was having a good night tonight. Team Red gets the best of Team White, 43-20. The Missouri Southern Lions baseball team begins their final weekend series of the regular season. Southern hits the road to face one of the best teams in the country for a big top 10 matchup. In Warrensburg this afternoon, Missouri Southern loses a tough one. Lions try to rally back in this one, but it's not enough. MSSU loses this game 7-4. Drew Townsend hits a solo shot in this game. Southern's back at it for game 2 tomorrow afternoon. In Pittsburgh tonight, Pitt State Gorillas this game's been back and forth all night, as this game was pushed back against Fort Hays State with the first pitch beginning at 7:30 p.m. And it was 7-0 at one point, but the Gorillas have battled back in this one. We're still in progress, but at last check, it's Fort Hays State who currently leads 10-8. Well, last night, the Kansas City Chiefs made a trade with the Buffalo Bills in the first round of the NFL Draft. The Chiefs made a lot of fans' wishes come true as they selected a new speedy wide receiver for their offense. Well, here's a look at the current Chiefs draft board. At the moment, the Chiefs took Xavier Worthy out of the University of Texas with the 28th overall pick. And then the second round tonight, the Chiefs took offensive lineman Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid gave his thoughts on Xavier Worthy after last night's draft.
As you saw, we picked Xavier Worthy from Texas, wide receiver. We're glad to add him on board. We think he's a heck of a football player, number one. He does a few different things. He's a good wide receiver and also a good special teams returner, and he'll end up doing both to start things off with. So, and he'll just work into that rotation when we get him, the wide receiver rotation, and with Hollywood and Rasheed and Kels and the other fellows.
In the Motor City, right next to the NFL Draft, Royals at Tigers, top of the third, might be one of the best plays in Royals history. This ball's driven deep, and Adam Frazier leads high and robs a 2-run home run from Austin Meadows. Then Frazier throws out the runner at second base for a double play. Take another look at this. What a catch. Leaps over the fence to make that one, and well, Austin Meadows, he cannot believe it. Man, what a play. So we head to the ninth inning now as the Royals lead 5-0. Bobby Witt Jr. comes up to the plate and hits this one deep into the right field gap. That scores a run, and that's an RBI triple for Witt Jr. Royals go on to win the opening game of the series against Detroit 8-0. We're back with more news after this.
Prices are up nearly 20% since January, but that's not stopping people from drinking their daily brew. Fox Business correspondent Jeff Flock is in Philadelphia with more.
It's not your grandfather's diner coffee, but this actually may have been your grandfather's coffee roaster. That's a 100-year-old machine, and these things are in huge demand right now for specialty roasting and coffees, and they come from all around the world these days. This shop gets them from Colombia, from I think this is Costa Rica. Here's a bag from, it says El Salvador, and each of these coffees is kind of like craft brews or a wine. Tremendously popular to have something different and special. Take a look at these numbers. National Coffee Association asked people, have you had coffee in the last 24 hours? In 2004, when they asked that question, it was less than half the people. Now, 67%. And it's coffee shops like this one. Not so. I mean, the Starbucks are great; they're out there. But Ryan Connolly's Pilgrim Roasters here in Philadelphia, people love this local business and from all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are not doing something that no one else is doing, but we're just trying to bring people the best product that we can get. So we buy as directly as we can from farmers. We want to, maintain equitability in that transaction, which also just allows us to buy really incredible coffees that you wouldn't get if you didn't go direct to a farm.
And so the coffee boom continues. It tastes better than ever, continues to wake you up, and it's street legal. At Pilgrim Roasters in Philadelphia, I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network.
Coming up, Will meet a woodpecker trying his hardest to get the attention of the homeowner. You've likely heard the sound of a woodpecker drilling its beak into a tree in search of a delicious meal. But what happens when one takes interest in your doorbell instead? A woodpecker was caught on camera using its beak to ring a doorbell repeatedly. As GN News reports, it's not clear if anyone ever answered.
We don't mean to knock the do-it-yourself woodpecker door knocker, or even Woody Woodpecker himself using a finger to ring the bell. Hi, neighbor! But both pale next to the real thing making the doorbell ding. As far as we can tell, no one ever answered the door. The last woodpecker story I did featured a woman in North Carolina ringing a doorbell to get help, removing a woodpecker tangled in her hair. This isn't the first time a woodpecker has been spotted ringing a doorbell. This one in Tennessee caused such a crack, the owner posted on Facebook looking for suggestions for a woodpecker-proof doorbell. We've seen bears seem to do it, pawing at the doorbell, then getting no response, so giving up in a huff.
Did it go ding-dong, or did he miss it? It did not go ding-dong.
This New Jersey bear made a habit.
Close the door, you little stinker.
Of walking right into one resident's house without ringing the bell, but at least he closed the door.
All the way, hon. All the way.
And a woodpecker that rings a doorbell is no dumbbell.
Well, hopefully that's not you. I don't know if I could stand that. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a gorilla mom tickling her baby at the Fort Worth Zoo. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here next time.